Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We are out where we're with Quinton Simon, I guess is how we're supposed to pronounce it. I had it wrong. I was calling him Simon, and it's Simon. So we're going to talk about where we're at with that and how we are handling not getting instant gratification from this situation and in general, how we don't really handle being able to, have what we want when we want it. Because we do have so many things that we want these days when we want it. We have things right away, a lot. And so sometimes I think that maybe we just are not, we're not equipped anymore to handle that some things just cannot happen that fast. And, with the criticism of what's going on in Savannah right now, I believe that some of it is warranted. I'm not going to deny that. I do believe that 100% Leilani should be behind bars. Absolutely. I don't know. Come up with something. We've heard that she's on probation. This kind of stuff coming from her herself. But regardless of anything, I can't believe that they cannot come up with something to actually charge her with to at least hold her. But we also do know that when we go to, we prematurely arrest somebody and charge them, a lot of times that doesn't turn out well. And we talked about this, probably a couple of times, definitely last night. But what happened with Casey Anthony, and then she's just free as a bird for forever, I guess. And we certainly do not want that to happen. I know we don't want that to happen. I can't help but believe that we could have her behind bars right now. That is very frustrating for me. But what we heard a lot about today was the fact that because we started to believe, or I did, and I think a lot of people did, believe that when the police called off the search last Friday, I think we thought that they already had found his body, and so we were pretty much waiting for an autopsy, this kind of thing. And then today we learned that they haven't found him yet. So there's been a lot of criticism of the police department. Why did they call off the search last Friday? Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to be biased at all. I'm not trying to. I don't know why. I don't. So there's no reason for me. I'm not going to pretend to know why. But well, hello, Mr. Snotty. Thank you for. Mr. Snotty is in the house, literally. Thank you, Mr. Snotty, for that. But I think we have to be very careful. I heard a lot today about, hi, welcome back. You're not going to believe this, but okay, last night I was really getting a little frazzled. Not trying to say anything frazzled, but after I'm like, mom of three, I'm not seeing it. I'm not. What is wrong with me? I was really kind of freaking out. And then I'm like, oh my God, there it is right there. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. They have special teams that go through and search these. See, this is what I'm kind of feeling like just because it seems like what I heard a lot today was, oh, well, they just took the weekend off. They went fishing. They did, golf. I don't know. I can't tell you what they did. Hi, Liz. I don't know what they did. So I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I do believe that as far as, we know that they had to go through a lot of, I'm sure that they went through a lot of surveillance tape to figure out where she went and what happened. Then you have to get all that worked out. There is a lot of logistics that have to go into that, because you can't just search the entire landfill. That's not going to make any sense for anybody. And so I believe a lot had to go into that and make that happen. And when the family initially, well, Leilani, she got him to believe something about the pool. Because initially all they have is what the family tells them. That's what they have. When the boys were growing up, the name, but now I'm just going on that. Yeah, me too. Frazzled me too. I am just definitely boring. Dobby is what I'm called, Dobby. But I don't think that we can just assume that they decided they don't care if that boy is in trash all weekend. I think that's very harsh to go with. And my take always is and always will be that, are there bad police? Of course there are. There's bad people in general. And so that's going to happen in every single walk of life, no matter what. But are all cops bad? Of course they're not. That's not even possible. Just all people. Hello. I am using, just going to jump in here real quick, everybody, and let you know that tonight I have very special equipment with me. I got a couple early birthday presents, and so I have this light that you can't see, but you can see. And I got this. I don't know. Let me see. Look at this. I'm all legit now. My amazing stepdaughters and their extended families got me this early birthday present. So I'm loving it, and I'm very appreciative. And I love you very, very, very much. Thank you. So let me see. I shall thank you for new hardware. Right. Yeah. So not only is Mr. Snotty in the house, but another very special person and some new hardware. Hello, counting. So I think, again, I'm not trying, I think it would be really harsh to actually believe that these police officers just decided to leave him in the trash all weekend and that they actually did nothing and went and enjoyed their time. Because quite frankly, it's not up to the police officers. There are a lot of people involved. And especially as big as this has become, and which is a good thing, because I started talking about this last week and there was nothing out there. Like, I could not figure out anything. And this has still been a very hard case to get information on. But we cannot assume that anybody doesn't feel the same way that we do about a child in a landfill. And we also have to remember, somebody put that child in a dumpster, okay? That wasn't me. That wasn't any of you. That was not any of the police officers. And I do have to say, only because, and I'm not trying to be biased at all. I did grow up with police officers. My dad was a homicide detective. And for anybody to assume that they are not very affected by that. That's not true. It is not true. It affects their whole life. It affected my life. I was 15 years old. I wasn't allowed to cross a road by myself. That is no lie, because my dad was a homicide detective and he was terrified that anything would happen to me. I wasn't allowed to go to church on Friday night because it's drunk drivers out on Friday nights. I wasn't allowed to do anything. He was terrified of everything, and he took every bit of these things very, very much to heart, I can tell you. It affected his life a lot because it meant everything to them. And I grew up with a family of law enforcement officers, and I'm just telling you, they were very, very much affected. I actually called my brother last week about this case, and he worked in search and rescue after he was a police officer, a deputy for many years. He worked in search and rescue. And I talked to him about this, and I even told him, I remembered when I was 15 years old and there was a little girl, he kept her 5x7 picture on his desk for years. And he said, I still have it. Like, he could never let that one go. They don't take any of this lightly. I'm not saying they all do. Maybe some of them do, but I think it's a really big stretch to think that they all are just like, yeah, whatever, I need a day off. Because they don't really take the day off. I can recall, I was a young child, but I can recall my mom saying that my dad would come home and sit in the bathroom and just replay tapes of interrogation over and over and over, trying to find something in there, trying to figure it out. And so I know that we have so many more resources these days, and we know that almost every move we make is either intentionally or unintentionally on camera. There's proof of it somewhere. That does still all have to be gone through. I mean, they have to go through all that tape, because this, Leilani gives them a story thinking that's in the pool, and so what they have to go by is what she says. Of course, they do know that they have to look further, but they also had to go through a lot of tape and pinpoint things. And then they have to say, okay, what part of that landfill would that have ended up in? I'm just assuming. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they can't just say, oh, let's just go search the whole landfill. They can't. That wouldn't be very smart. So I'm simply thinking, okay, just because, there was a time we waited for mail to come in, snail mail. We waited for the mailman to bring us some mail. Today, and we're all just as guilty. I mean, I sit there going, I know my grandkids started school today. Where are my pictures? Where are they? I'm obviously that's not going to come in the mail. I don't even care where the hell I live. It's going to come right now. We all do this, but I think for police work, a lot of that is not going to be immediate. So, do I agree that she should be arrested? Absolutely. I agree that I would like to get my hands on her. I would feel really good if I could just literally put my hands on her. And I would feel very happy if she was turned over to the public and let them deal with her. And then the rest of everybody else in that house go to be arrested, because everybody knew what she was doing. They know the specific truck that picked that actual dumpster up in the trailer park and the time was and the condition dumps. Right, but that can't, thank you so much for coming back. Just keep it real. But you still have to pinpoint that, because that wasn't picked up that day knowing we need to keep track of that specific thing. It still is. And something that's really trigger warning. when the trash is picked up, it is compacted. So you have to think of that too. It is all crushed together. So there is also that. I'm so glad you came back tonight. Is there something that you need, something else you need us to know? That's what I'm trying to explain. You can't just figure that out immediately. You have to really work on that. Oh, they don't. You know what? I saw somebody the other day. I just watched a news clip that said they do that there. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm glad you told me that. And no matter what, I feel a lot better because I know just because he wasn't alive doesn't mean that I was okay with him being crushed. That's been really tough to know. Okay. Well, thank you for that. But do you agree that they would still have to spend some time to figure out where that's at? We know they had just drained the pool. They had been given a good reason to believe that it was possible that the pool was involved or something. I don't believe it was. And my personal feeling is that once we have a cause of death is when we're going to really find out how what she's going to be charged with. Because I just have this ill feeling that it is not about anything accidental. I just do. Oh, depends on the service. Ours, they don't. Okay. Well, I'm going to roll with what you're saying because it makes me feel better in my gut that he wasn't crushed, hopefully. They kind of showed big brick type things in the landfill. In my opinion, I think so too. And I don't know that devious. I don't know that she meant to do. I don't know that I think she probably just went too far. But I don't believe it was something that is going to be able to come up as an accident, like the pool. First of all, if your child falls in the pool, the first thing you think of is not, oh, should I have been watching them better? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? No, you call 911. You pull them out and you start doing. You don't put them in the dumpster. That's not what you do. That is not what you do. And yes, she is a vile, ill person. I want her to be in jail more than anybody, as much as everybody else. The trucks that pick up regular cans do compact big dumpster. Oh, okay. So maybe what I was watching was, oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because they were actually saying like the can in front of your house, they toss it in, and after so many, okay, well, right. Well, and since I do believe, she said the door was open, but she also said that he was with his biological father, which everybody, grandma and everyone else said that was not an option. That has never happened, wasn't going to happen. You already know you can't believe her. You already know that she was tested positive for Coca-Cola at the time her child was born, her baby that was born in June. And probably shouldn't say this, but just in my opinion, I feel like it probably didn't take them more than 5 minutes to figure out they were dealing with somebody that probably couldn't believe. I don't know. Look at her Facebook. What did it say? In case you've never seen The Devil or Evil or whatever, here it is. Yeah, doesn't matter. She discarded him like trash. She absolutely did. No, you're right. It doesn't matter. And that's what I said. I get it. He was gone and he's already in God's hands, and thank God he is. But I have to say, just the very thought that he was crushed was hard to deal with. That's just hard to handle. I think he went through enough. And what I'm hoping is that just by whatever chance, and let's face it, being in the system is not a good place to be. But that damn house is clearly not a good place to be. Her Facebook made me sick. Right. Her Facebook made me very sick. Everyone is rushed to find him to get our baby out of there. No, you're right. We all want him out of there. We absolutely do. I agree. But I think, it's a lot smarter to spend the time to go through strategically and figure out the best place to look in there where he might be. No, it clearly wasn't a good place to be. I don't, and sadly, it wasn't a good place to be for Leilani, I don't think. And my understanding is that she didn't have custody of her kids at all times, or so. I don't even. This has been really difficult to get information on. But it was a generational thing. That I think there is no question about. It's hard to try and rationalize what people on drugs do, especially. Yeah, do you think grandma? I absolutely think grandma needs to be charged. 100%. 100%. With something, absolutely with something. Do I also think that mothers need to be charged whenever they knowingly allow the boyfriend to do whatever the hell they want to their kids? Absolutely, I believe that. Those kids were left in the care of somebody she had taken them away from because they couldn't be trusted. The grandmother knew. Right, absolutely. Of course she did. Of course she did. I think they're very violent people. I think they are very, I think 100% anybody who gives me the care of their children, knowing full well that I'm not going to take care of them, they shouldn't do that. I don't care who the hell you are. I think mom or grandma loved him more than anybody. See, I think she is too. It's kind of the idea that you get from this situation, between her criminal record, between watching her go and fight, and this is already all over the news. Who does that? I mean, I know emotions are high, but that was a lot. And right. And we have no reason to not believe the babysitter. It really does seem to go along with everything else that we've been told from the other people in the neighborhood. Just letting them out there, them being out there in the street, that's enough right there. That's a problem. Besides belt marks. We've had this talk too many times. I'm telling you right now, I love my kids more than anything. If I see a belt mark on my grandkid's neck, we got some big problems, and I'm not going to tolerate it. And again, even if my child didn't do it, if they've allowed them around somebody who did that, again, I don't even think I think the law is the least of your concern, because that's not going to work for me. And I think that just most people, that he's not my grandson, but I believe we have all taken that baby on as our own. I feel for that child. I see his face in my head all the time, and to think that he was treated this way it breaks my heart. Wow. Hi, Mandy Lane. Hi, welcome. So that was just you've seen a whole lot more Just keep it real. Yikes. Because that was kind of a lot. And you do have to take into consideration that that it's a very emotional thing. It's hard. I get that. Nobody will deny that. If you come on panel, and I'm not trying to force you, I just would love to hear from you. You can turn the camera off. You can do it without showing yourself. I'm just saying that in case. Don't think I'm trying to do anything like that, but I think this has touched so many people. To me, he's all of our grandkid. He's all of our neighbor. He's all of our student, everything. That's the way he is for me. I spent all day thinking about Quinton. This is what we do. We haven't stopped thinking about Kaylee Marie either. We never will. We see that beautiful face and we can't believe that she's discarded by her own mother, the person that she trusts the most in the world. And we all know that feeling of what it feels like for a mom's love. Well, we don't all know it. A lot of us know it. And we also know that is the one person on earth that would walk on fire for us, much less harm us. Children should be the one things right. Yeah, we talked a lot about this last night about what is the answer with CPS and or those organizations. I don't know the answer. I'm not going to pretend to, but 100% something needs to be done because they were very much involved, but why are they? Hey, that's enough. And then you got little chihuahuas that somebody should come take from me because they're little brats. Yeah, what do we do about what is the answer? I absolutely clearly don't know what the answer is. And after we all talked last night, I started thinking, either if I worked in that kind of thing, I either would have so many kids at my house, I would just insist on bringing them home. Or I would do like some of us spoke about last night, I would have to leave because I couldn't just watch that happen. It's so horrible. But do you guys agree? How do you guys feel about, number one, how are you guys feeling about Leilani not being arrested right now? Forget the rest of the family, because I think probably every damn person in that house needs to go to jail. Because the neighbors knew what was happening. So the people in the house absolutely knew. But how do you feel about Leilani not being in jail? And do you guys believe that the police department have been negligent in not finding the body yet? How do you guys think about this? I think it's very easy to say, hey, do your job. Hey, yeah, and we feel this way a lot about a lot of things. But I do think that they had to spend some time to try to figure out where that ended up. That's just my thinking. I don't know how. Mandy said, hi, Mr. Snotty. Oh, he can't hear me. Yeah, I don't know about you, Liz, but my daughter-in-law and I talked last week, and it was like, when we have these things, you just turn these people over to the public and let them handle them. Because I guarantee you we will get justice that way. That's the way I feel. When it's an innocent child, they have no way of protecting themselves. They have nowhere to go, no way of even asking for help. He's 20 months old. who struck him in the near the face or in the face with a belt. That's just that's something you go to me. We go to blows over. Yeah. So see, that is what I think too. I really. Hi, Brenda. Welcome. I think you're right. I totally do understand that they want to charge her with the fullest. That's my assumption. But I do also understand the frustration of somebody who has already admitted to putting her baby in a dumpster is able to go to bed at night, have a nice meal, have a drink, have some Coca-Cola, whatever it is whatever the hell she wants to do, she gets to do. That is hard for people to see. Um, and they've been their own worst enemy. I mean, people know more about things because of her own mother than I think that all came out, and that's when the police had to respond to that and say, we understand he's not here anymore. Well, the problem is she didn't admit to. Right. That's exactly right. Right. But it was put out there. And I think that's why the police had to say, okay, we do not believe he's alive. And yeah, because I don't think they would have said any of that had Billy Joe not come out with stuff. And I guess I don't know. I'm really confused too. So maybe you know this. Just keep it real. The grandma and grandpa were not out of town together. I kind of understood. I thought that they were. Right. No, exactly. No, I totally get that. And that's why I think the police reacted the way they did, because that was out there and they're not ready to arrest. And that's not, I get it. They can't be forced into it. They need to do what they need. They were not together. See, I think I thought that, and now I'm kind of hearing it's like he was in South Carolina or North Carolina, I think, and she was in Illinois. It doesn't matter. They weren't there with the children, and that's what, quite frankly, they were supposed to be, in my opinion. Okay. But they both knew that she didn't take care of her kids. I mean, I think that they were married in 2018, so he hasn't been around as long. So, can I say that? What about it? Want me to- Okay, thank you. Where was the boyfriend? He was, oh, yeah, where does he work? And is anything happening with that? Because how was he supposedly went to work at 6, and then, but he was back there at 9 when they were looking for, supposedly looking. Yes, they both knew, but BJ had custody. Yeah, that's what I think too. She had custody and she left him with exactly who she knew wouldn't take care of him. So, but the boyfriend, Youngkin, or Daniel, do you know where did he work? Do you know? And I just find it weird that he went to work at 6 a.m. that day, but he was there supposedly at 9 when they were looking for Quinton. I feel like he must know more. The young kid. Right, Frazzle. That's the father of the baby of Sky, is the Daniel Youngkin. Am I saying that right? Or I don't know. Sounds kind of weird, but that's the way it's spelled. Um, so I feel they all work at the same company, but are deployed to different jobs. Oh, okay. So even Daniel did, and so they kind of act. They kind of act like Leilani worked also, but I didn't really figure she actually did. I don't know. The babysitter said. I bet he told more than we know. Yeah, I bet he probably did. But he also took off and left his child there. Obviously, he always had his child there. I don't know. I got to wonder about these fathers that pretty much knew what kind of crap was going on, also. But, they probably just had the same kind of people in their lives that they were. I don't know. It's heartbreaking no matter what. And it just makes your stomach hurt to think about these things happening. And they're happening all the time. Common sense didn't flow freely in that. No, it didn't. No. But you know what did, Liz? What flowed very freely was violence and upheaval. I was slightly curious the other day about how far what kind of education everybody has, but I think that doesn't even matter because you could have very little education and still not be stupid. And these people were obviously not real bright, and they obviously were very violent and ugly people to each other. I can't imagine neighbors being nervous. I would be nervous too because they weren't even nice to each other. Locally, those jobs are few and far between. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for that information. I really do appreciate that. Just keep it real. Do you think that how people are feeling about this is good or bad? I mean, I can't really I can't really go down completely. I mean, I have appreciated watching a little bit off and on Dolly and uh, Bullhorn Betty, but I can't really go down the road. I cannot believe that the police just decided they don't give a shit on Friday. I just don't believe that. I've known too many very, very personally, and they absolutely do give a shit more than people know. It hits them they become very, very emotionally involved in that. They don't have a choice. I mean, they're people. Some of the locals tonight. Oh, I bet you. I think it probably was. That was the impression from what I've seen. My impression is that probably Billy Joe and Leilani, as a rule, acted more like friends. And then every once in a while, Billy Joe wanted to act like a mom and say, I'm going to take your kids from you because maybe she's relaxed a little bit in her later years. I think she was probably pretty rough at one time and possibly still is. She kind of looks it. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. Gosh. Now, and it's very nice to get along well with your adult children. I do very well. We have a great time together. But yeah, I'm not going to be trying to. Well, I don't do that stuff, and neither do they. So I guess that wouldn't work out well for us. But yeah, I kind of get the impression that it's. And so what I think happened was Billy Joe came home, and immediately she was pretty vocal about how she didn't really trust Leilani. And then she immediately decided to turn it on to the babysitter and kind of come out differently, and honestly, what is it? Because it's all going to come out what she does too. And yeah, you're the one saying it. She was pretty open. Yeah, yeah. Me and my kids are not going to drink Coca-Cola together. That's an absolute fact. We're not even going to look at Coca-Cola together. I don't want it anywhere near. That's what I always tell people. I don't know. It's so weird, this whole opioid thing. And it's not weird. It's horrible. But I wouldn't know heroin if you handed me a plate of it or whatever. I don't have any idea what it looks like or anything else. And I have haphazardly joked, because it's not funny at all, that apparently it is so damn awesome that I should be trying it. I don't know. But I'm kidding. I'm 100% kidding. I don't want anything to do with it. But it certainly seems to be some horrible stuff. And that's what's weird these days. You hear all about that stuff, and that's not what we hear in this house. It seemed to be more. Everybody says her um, drug of choice was the soda, which I don't think she went to work regularly, regardless. And I'm pretty sure it's probably expensive. So I don't know where she got the money for that. I feel like the dynamics and relationship in the family are being undermined. No, I think so. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Mom was more like a friend, and everybody kind of here and there maybe paid attention to whether the kids had a clean diaper on and some food and wandered around the neighborhood. We've heard way too much of that. That's not a normal thing. It's one thing if it happens one time your kid gets away from you. It was really clear, because that's even terrifying. With that road, you can see there's cars coming by all the time. It's not like that's scary. And well, they weren't taking care of the kids. That's absolutely the thing. And then, what really bothered me was I heard Zane's father said, well, everybody knew that Leilani just wanted a boy and a girl. Okay, well, why did she want children at all? Why did anybody that she knew even have a discussion with her about that? That's ridiculous. Anybody who knew her should have said, you shouldn't be thinking about what sex your children are. You don't have any business having children. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Just keep it real. I mean, just watching Betty and Dolly, and again, I don't agree with everything they're saying for sure. I have my own opinions on it, but they are showing it, and there's cars going by. Right. See, this is just it. Why didn't she take precautions? They're very available, 100% available. We all know that. And one might be one thing. Even then, you still take care of them. I didn't plan on getting pregnant when I did, but I was, and I took care of my child. You know, no boyfriend, no nonsense. But then again, my mom wasn't doing drugs with me. Okay. Well, my mom was already dead, but she would not have been doing drugs with me. So I don't understand this lifestyle at all. But I do understand emotions and the feeling of having a child and how you want to protect that child with everything you have in you, much less you be the perpetrator. That's just not what happens. Not for me. And I think pretty much 99% of people. Generational. Yeah. And that's why I really have to believe that, it's really hard to say that something good is going to come from this because this is a horrible thing. But just maybe those other two can break this cycle, because it absolutely is a generational thing. It is. And I would just be a complete liar if I said that this hasn't gone on in my family. It actually has. I mean, I second cousins and not family that I necessarily associate with. Actually, I don't at all. But there's some generational nonsense going on there that is like, okay, they're not killing their kids, but it's just not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Oh my God. Do you see that? Mr. Snotty, do you see that? Only Joe will break it, maybe. And who is Joe? Okay, I know there's Paul.
I do.
Can you get rid of it, or do I have to? Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Wow, that's so gross. Only Joe. I don't. Oh, okay, okay. So this one's older than Paul. Well, obviously, then I guess, because Paul also lived there, and so did. Well, there's the other son that is in prison for unaliving somebody in a pretty nasty way. Um, okay, so he's the first. Okay. So he's not close to them, or did he also know what was going on in the home? Okay. Did he know what was going on in the home and was okay with that? Okay. So he got away from it. Well, that's good. You don't have to become a victim of your circumstance or your environment, but it's very easy to. It's just easy to not even know. I have literally heard people say before, well, whenever they get to the age that, when they're going to get their welfare check or whatever, just not even thinking about that. That's what they know. And that's just what they do. Yeah. Well, that's very good. I'm happy to hear that because I didn't know. I only knew of the one in prison and then the one at the house. Mm. Huh. Well, you love your mom. People do. But generally, your mom loves you and takes care of you also. So, wow. Yeah, I know they keep saying that somebody, I don't know, Dolly Vision keeps calling somebody the gatekeeper. Ay, ay, ay. And the sad thing is also, if there is somebody in this family who got out, went in the military, moved away, but he's going to be drug into all kinds of nonsense on a regular basis. That doesn't always work out well for a person either. They just say, screw it, I give up, or they just can't maintain. They can't keep up all the nonsense. Is Ruth? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And that is BJ's friend. Right. Okay. Who I also, they say that she's been a little aggressive too. I mean, I guess people are going to say, leave us alone. You're gonna. Okay. So, my opinion, just my opinion, I would think that I'm probably not going to think very highly of anybody who is good friends with her. That would be my assumption. I know I'm not trying to have my best friend have that kind of nonsense in her life. Because it's not a stretch to say that she literally has raised, or we think she raised, maybe she has given birth to two people who have taken somebody's life, one being their own child. I don't know how you couldn't look in the mirror and think that maybe there's something wrong with yourself. You might want to rethink your behavior. Wow. So this is just really very, very depressing. I really do love your picture. Just keep it real. Looks like a beautiful sunset. And so that's the one that had it out with Bullhorn Betty, I guess. You live what you, yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. You just kind of things that maybe good, bad, or neither. You just tend to kind of grow up and think, we all think, okay, well, we want to have a home, you want to, you just have all these little dreams and stuff about what you're going to do when you become an adult, when you have your own house. And if you just know certain things, then that's just what you're going to do. You can get away from it. You can typically figure out that this is not necessarily a good place where you're at some point. One thing I used to always tell my kids is, we could probably just all know that, just automatically assume that Jeffrey Dahmer didn't come from the best home. I don't know if he did or not, but maybe not. That still doesn't make it okay what he did. Okay, you have to still say, listen, we know right from wrong. We got to do it. We just do. I wasn't abused as a child by any means, but um, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of things, but we had a lot of love. And, you just, I don't know. I can't imagine ever thinking that certain things would be okay, no matter what. It's such a shame. This is just a heartbreaking situation. Yeah, and frazzled, hopefully he does break that cycle. And not only that, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. You got to wonder about these other kids. Are they going to end up going with their fathers? And is that good too? I don't know, because their fathers knew where they lived and they seemed to be okay with that. The only father that seemed to really have nothing to do with anything was Quentin's, and well, I guess we don't have to worry about that. So, I don't know. What do you guys? Oh, oh my gosh. Okay, that is something I'm very curious about. What about Leilani's dad? I'm just going to go ahead and assume that none of Billy Joe's kids have the same father. But are any of the fathers involved? Are they all, or any of them, do they know them? Anything like that? And who's your direct connection? Is this the Joe? Sorry, but I'm feeling very much, was any of them paying? I feel like they probably weren't. As I'm hiding. Well, because you know what happened? Billy Joe had just had paperwork done for, or filed for, Leilani to pay child support to her. Okay. And do any of them though, just keep it real, do any of, does he have a relationship with his father? Do any of them? Like Leilani or Paul or even Nathaniel, any of them? Do they, any of them have, know who their father is? Wow, I feel like I'm just like harassing you. Does Joe have his own family too? Look at me, I'm just like, none of this is my business. I understand that. You can't help but care about, they know their fathers. Okay. Well, that's good, I guess. Maybe knowing their mother, I can't imagine what kind of fathers they would be, but that doesn't mean anything. That's good though that they know. You saw that the way it was. Oh wow. Well, that's good though that he's not. Hopefully, he's just getting his self. Can't be easy to walk away from that and just get your shit all together. You saw. I don't understand, Frazzle. I don't think I understand what you're saying. $50. I don't understand what that means. what, the stepdad? The stepdad of, so Sky's father would have been Quinton's. Well, I don't know that it was his stepdad. Mom didn't even have custody and they weren't married. So I don't know about that. Well, I definitely will throw in some extra prayers for Joe now. I didn't know about him. And I'm really happy that he has gotten away from that and hopefully can break that cycle. I just, sometimes that family, they're just so needy, and the only one who gets their shit together has to keep coming back and fixing everything. And that's kind of sad for them because they don't know how to say no. And I hope that's not the case. On the child support order, it was $150 a month. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Frazzled. Sorry about that. Seriously, that could not be a reason. That's really good. I'm very happy to hear that. Hopefully Billy Joe goes to prison and she won't be able to continue to try to take him, use him all to hell. Frazzle, do you actually think that might have something to do with why she did that? Surely not. Oh my God. I don't even know if I can take that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that. My impression is that she just wasn't going to pay any of it ever, so it didn't really matter. And what I actually think is that her and Billy Joe would have a fight, and then so she would go and file eviction notice. If you recall, when she did the eviction notice, she wanted the kids out too, which was absolutely ridiculous when she had custody of them. That is really not even allowed. But that's what she said. I don't even think that she even expected. She knows what she raised. She wasn't going to get child support. Right. None of it makes any sense. I think it doesn't make any sense. I think that Billy Joe got a hair up her ass. They would have a fight, and then she would go file something. It must be really easy to do there because otherwise I don't think that anybody would do it. But I don't think they actually meant it, or they didn't mean it until they had another fight. Because the rest of the time they were all doing the same stuff. I feel that every bit of this is my opinion. I don't know these people from Adam. Let's remember that I don't have any information. This is my opinion, 100%. What we do know is that there is a child in landfill, and that is heartbreaking. And what he went through is unimaginable, no matter what it was. But I think that it just might have been an end to his misery because she didn't like him. That's pretty clear. She didn't like that child. I think she accidentally overdosed him to get him to sleep. And then when she discovered him deceased. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. I think it is. I think it's that, or she just physically till he was done. I don't believe it had anything to do with the pool. I think that was a big ruse trying to get. I think that was nonsense. Myself. I know that Billy Joe is in her. She was born in 1975. If we want to figure that out. So she's 47, I think, if I figured that out right. 47. Or he wouldn't go to sleep or stop crying. Yeah, I think she definitely, we do believe that she did that stuff for sure when they just got on her nerves or whatever. I do worry that they're going to try to say that, between she was bipolar and then also, what are they saying with her last pregnancy? What do you call that? Postpartum depression. I think they've already brought that up too. That's going to get on my nerves if that happens because I don't believe that that's going to be it. Oh, yeah. And there's also something about, yeah, because Billy Joe's mom, I think, is 68, something like that. She's in her 60s. Um, and her neighbor, I don't know if you know about that. Just keep it real. I saw a news clipping of Billy Joe's mom's neighbor. Some kind of nonsense went on there. No, Billy Joe's quite a bit younger than I am. No, I am too. I am very sick of that. That's funny that you say it. I try to keep my mouth shut about the bipolar because, quite honestly, um, to me, what it's, and I'm no doctor, I'm not anybody, but I feel like when somebody doesn't behave, they have bipolar. They're bipolar. You know, when I don't behave, I'm just an asshole. I'm just not behaving. I'm not trying to call it anything other than not behaving. French fry guy. That's the guy who had, no, I don't mean Billy Joe, Billy Joe's mother. I saw, there was a news clipping of her. Something happened with her, a neighbor she had, Billy Joe's mother. Right? If we want to, we can come up with some kind of diagnosis for every time we don't behave ourselves. But the reality is, majority of us understand what is okay, what's not okay, and either take responsibility or don't. That would just mean that I have a really bad case of being an asshole, not behaving myself. Period. I don't need to call it bipolar or anything else. It's another way to, because I don't know, what did they call it whenever, back in the day before they came up with bipolar. I think back then people just didn't behave or something. I don't know. And we can all come up with a good reason why, our parents did this to us, this and that happened. We can all come up with shit. But you can also say, listen, that's not cool, but it's not a reason to not behave yourself. That's who Dolly had. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's not the one that I saw that had an issue with Billy Joe's mom. This was several years ago, but it was like some kind of big news thing, and it was just seemed a little weird that a lot of things have happened in their family over and over again that don't really happen in most people's. That's exactly right. Yep. I've never had a really big problem with being called a bitch. If I am being one, I obviously meant to, and so that's just what it is. Not down with the C word, but I don't mind being called a bitch because that's what I want to be. Then I'm probably went for what I accomplished what I wanted to, maybe. But I don't want to harm people ever. And definitely don't want a child to be harmed of any kind. And clearly, I will hurt somebody if something happens to one of my grandkids. There's no question about that. But I don't know. I mean, are you guys really feeling, do you guys feel that the police have really not done their job there? Or what are you thinking there? Are you feeling like they really took the weekend off just to dick off and not worry about this child? I'm just curious about that because I just can't seem to get my head around that. And I do think it's unfair for us to pretend we have any idea exactly what they were doing, because we don't. I know for me, I don't have a job. I don't go into anywhere and check in and punch in. I cook, clean, I take care of my house, I iron, I do all those things. I take care of my grandbaby. Any chance I get, I have a couple other grandbabies here. But literally, people say things to me like, well, you just must be really bored. And I'm like, yeah, not so much. I'm pretty busy. They are making sure they get it right. That's what I think too. I kind of do think that. I don't feel that. Because I grew up with law enforcement. They aren't at Christmas dinner. They're not. They are very regularly can just not be coming home that night just because something happens on their way home from work and they got to take back off. I've watched it my whole life. So I just really have a hard time with people thinking that that's what's going on. There are a lot of things that they're looking at. As much as we very much today get to have a picture sent to us right away, we get to have so much instant gratification. Some of this is very old school legwork that has to be done. So that's my feelings. I don't know. It was something that had me a little wound up earlier. Don't be a bee. Well, I don't typically want to be one. But I guess we'll call it quits for tonight. I think that we did get something solved maybe for ourselves. Hopefully we had some good conversation. I do appreciate everybody being here with me. I know you don't have to be, and you have lots of places you could be. I do appreciate. Thank you so much. Just keep it real for that. Again, me knowing means nothing, but that was actually some really good stuff to hear. Good that somebody made it out of that nonsense, for sure, because that's very heartwarming to know that. Imagine digging through. No, I can't. I absolutely can't, especially if it was compacted. That has been having me a little wound up when I saw that. That's yeah. Yeah, the little baby is my namesake. Yes. He's just amazing, but he is busy. So this Dobby, not bored. This Dobby's busy. Just saying. I don't have time to get bored. Do you watch Justin's live? Oh no, if he's on live, I definitely go over there and watch him. Is he on right now? Is he getting ready to go on? Because what time is it here? It's 8:15 here where I'm at. I fall asleep to somebody. I fall asleep with my earbuds in every night trying to be on top of all kinds of nonsense. Oh, he already did. Oh, am I going to listen? Oh, you know what? Is it going to be about those 4 men in Oklahoma? That one's, I don't know what all's going to happen there. I'm definitely going to listen to it, though, I can tell you that. Oh, my gosh. One of the war. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. And I know all about that. Is this about Sterling? Yep. Oh, the 5-year-old girl. I don't know who you're talking about. I know he talked about that Sterling thing. That's that one. I've known about that one for quite a while, and that's bad. That one is, oh, that's really, really bad. The 5-year-old girl. I just don't know. Not Summer Wells. Candace is a POS. I don't know. 5-year-old girl. I think. Um, oh, okay. I don't know about this. Okay, now I'm very intrigued. I'm gonna have to go and look. Do you remember him yesterday talking about the Sterling that he's said he's doing a deep dive on? That one is something else. It's I never heard of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that. I'm gonna go check that out now. Yikes. Oh, I don't recognize these names. It must be new. I'm pretty much on all that. Well, I'm gonna go check that out. This little girl's story. Well, this. Oh God. Oh, they do. Did you guys hear him talking about Sterling yesterday about the swing? 'Cause that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Oh God, I know. Ugh, that was horrible. Okay, now I've got to go watch that and get myself all worked up. Okay, everybody, good night. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And oh, I wanted to say really quick. Okay, I'm really close to 500 subs. So on Friday night, our Friday night fun, I'm gonna do a shirt giveaway, just because I'm gonna make it anyway. I'll make it. So if anybody is interested in that. Besides, Friday night fun is really, really fun. It actually is. Obviously, last Friday was awesome. Molly showed up, and that was amazing. But even after she left, I mean, we still actually had a lot of fun. We just do. So it's all these sad stuff going on. But good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Love you all so much. Thank you. Please push like and hit the notification bell. Wow, that was fast. Oh, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Wait, what did she mean? Oh, sorry. Thanks, everybody. Yep, keep it snotty. Keep it snotty. That is faux show. Thank you guys so much.